My chosen novel is Paper Towns by John Green. The novel has a strong theme of identity and finding your true self. It is a story of two teens, Margot Roth-Splenderman and Quentin. They used to be close and then started to grow apart after finding a dead body in the local park at the age of 9. The story continues as they are now 18, and Margot is more of the popular girl in school. Everyone knows of Margot and deceives her in different ways. But she also still remains a mystery to some of her closest friends, and to herself. Quentin is a nerdier character who is still in love with how he remembers Margot to be when they were younger, not thinking of how she has changed over time. The whole story is told in first person by Quentin, so the viewers understand more about his views and his perceptions throughout this journey. Margot firstly devises a plan so that she can leave Florida. She just can't handle the pressure of being in a paper town. Here is a quote to show how Margot feels about Florida or Orlando. All those people living in their paper towns. This quote is important as she is almost saying that everyone is just a paper boy or a paper girl. The quote is symbolic to the title of the book, Paper Towns, and gives us an image of a flimsy town that is made out of paper. It also gives insight into her character and what she thinks and feels about Florida. Margot wants to leave and get out of this paper town so that she can try and discover herself and her real identity of herself. The night before she left, she managed to get Quentin to drive her around the city on an 11-step plan to get back at people that had hurt her or taken advantage of her. Quentin does things that he wouldn't have thought of when they are together on this night. At the end of the night, they break into SeaWorld, and he says to Margot, "My heart is really pounding." She then replies back, "That's how you know you're having fun." This quote starts to show how he has started to relax, and he started to find a new part of his characteristics. He's just realizing that he can have fun with things. After this, and after Margot leaves, his behaviour patterns continue to change. He decides to skip school one day, for example. On this day that he skips, he also skips his own prom. He goes to the mini-mall and discovers more clues left by Margot. At first, he is scared to be in a dark, abandoned place with rats crawling around it by himself, but eventually he starts to like it. He says, "I'm becoming more comfortable. I found it easier to explore." This shows how his anxiety and stress starts to go down. He starts really exploring and becoming comfortable in the space that once used to scare him. Again, showing how his character is developing. In the mini-mall, he starts to imagine her in that space. He says, "This image seemed too sad to be true. It all struck me as lonely, and so very un-Margot." The italics on "un", proving that even though he thinks he knows who Margot was, he never saw her in this sort of place or situation. He really doesn't know her, but he realizes at this point he has to have faith in her, that she'll be okay, that she's not fine and precious. This fits into the theme of identity and people not always deceiving people as what others want to be known for. That one needs to know themselves before listening to what others think about them. All the clues that Margot have left him lead Quentin to believe that she's in a small town called Agloe in New York. It is a town that cannot be found on any digital map and only on certain hard copy maps. This is called a paper town. This is another important reference to the title of the novel. Him and his friends go on a closely timed trip to find Margot. When they arrive, Margot is at first threatened. Then she starts to open up and tell him about why she has to leave. At the end of their time together, they agree that they need to go on their separate ways. This brings them both closure to each other, and Quentin is now able to go home, knowing that Margot is safe and that she is capable of taking care of herself.